Hey everyone, it's Chaz. Welcome back to the channel. I already filmed this video, but I was so confused by this setup that I somehow managed to confuse myself during the video. So I'm filming it again. I'm going to try to do it a lot more streamlined this time. So anyway, hi Lucky. In this video, we're going to be looking at the advent of code from last year, 2022. So if you don't know what it is, it's a series of pretty challenging coding problems. They're sort of Christmas themed, and they're actually a lot of fun, although they are kind of brutal, especially if you're a beginner like me. So you can see over here, I made it to day 11 so far, but I'm having so much fun with these. I want to share them with everybody. So I'm going to go back and start going through the previous days here on YouTube while I hopefully manage to finish the rest of these. I haven't even read day 12 yet. So if you haven't seen Advent of Code, like I said, it's Christmas themed. It's 25 problems. Each one has 2 parts, and they're released every day from December 1st to December 25th. So I'm going through the one from last year, and it's sort of like an advent calendar, except instead of getting chocolate, you get something even better. Coding challenges. So once you've created your account, you log in. I happen to use GitHub. You're going to need to use an IDE to solve these. There are several ways to do it. It took me forever to figure out how to get this set up. So I thought I'd make this video just to show you how to actually get started so that you can try to solve these problems. So the first thing you're going to need to do, if you don't already have an IDE, you're going to need to download one. It doesn't matter which one you use. You can use VS Code, you can use Eclipse, or you can use IntelliJ. I happen to use all 3, but for this series of videos, I'm going to be showing it to you in IntelliJ. And actually, at the same time, I'm going to have VS Code open on the other window so I have something to refer to in case I forget what I want to say. But yeah, just pick the one you like, download it, install it. Once you're ready to go, just open it up. And I'm just using the Community Edition. Right, and over here, you can see I have a project already for Advent of Code, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from scratch. So I'm going to go over here. You can't see it, but there's a part over here that says New Project. Actually, I can just move the screen. Here, there you go. Click New Project. And then give it a name. I'm going to name the project Advent 2022 YT. It's just because I'm making a separate project just for YouTube. You don't need to change any of this other stuff. You can just leave it default. Just make sure you keep in mind the location, the directory where you actually save it. If you don't like the directory that you see, you can always just change it here by clicking on the folder. The rest of the options I'm not going to touch. I'll just hit create. All right, and then a couple things I'm going to do right away. I don't need this to be so wide, so I'm just going to make that smaller. I'm going to open up the project itself, expand it out like that, expand the source folder, and then right away I'm just going to right click and go new directory. I'm going to name it resources, and I'm going to take that directory and click and drag and move it into the source folder. I'm doing that because eventually I'm going to need to get text files into this code, and so I'm going to put them all in that resources folder. And then really quick, I'm just going to leave this the way it is. I'm just going to get rid of that breakpoint. And I'm just going to hit Shift F10 on Windows or Control R on a Mac to run your code in IntelliJ. Everything runs fine. I'm only running it because I just want to move this to where I need it. Mine is already where I want it, but by default, yours might be like way down here or way up here. So just move the console to a spot where you like it. I'm now also going to go to File and Settings. And if you want your IDE to look a little more like mine, you can click on Appearance, and over here for Theme, you can just hit Get More Themes, and the one I'm using, if I just sort by, I believe, Downloads, yeah, it's right here, the Visual Studio Code Dark Plus theme. But any of these themes work, just find one that works best for you. And then another plugin I would highly recommend is Rainbow Brackets. This one is the paid version, but if you scroll down, there is a light version, and that one is totally free. So all this does is it makes it so that your brackets are color coded and also your parentheses and all of that. Because if you're anything like me, you start putting method calls inside of method calls and it just gets really confusing. You lose your place. It's great to have color coded brackets so you know exactly where you are in the code and if you have the correct number of parentheses and brackets and all that. But yeah, so the last thing I'm going to do is just take everything inside this main method and delete it because I don't need any of it. I'm also going to go on the top and get rid of any default comments up here, but I am going to leave one line at the top because I already know I'm going to need to import something. So that's pretty much it for the setup. Once it comes to actually solving day 1 and day 2, etc., you're going to need to do a little more. You're going to need to create another class, but we'll take care of that in the next video when we start actually working on day 1. So that'll be it for this one. If you have any questions about this, just leave a comment for me. Make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, that's all.